In 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Download the Uplift. My name is Gabriel Mark, one of your hosts here at Download the Uplift, reporting live from the southern plains of Texas. Joined as always by my co-host that for breakfast will eat a lot of yolks, Dane Davis.
What's up, man? What's up, host who eats the cinnamon toast?
Oh, see? Man, that's way better than yolk, dude. I was all like, I'm in my head too much when I was trying to match co-hosts, and you were talking about eggs earlier. We're going to talk with you on the show about it. So
About eggs?
Yeah. What's going on, man? Long time no talk. This new every other week format. It's like I never talk to you anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. The friendship's gone downhill. Just I don't know. We don't talk. We don't talk enough, man. It's like we're losing touch.
Hey, screw you, man. It's not easy out here. What yo, real quick, because we don't get into it enough. Tiki chat.
Some people probably thought like, hey, what's up with the coffee cup? But I still got it.
He still got it. It's just all right. Comment down below. My co-host, all he does is he drinks just regular water. No ice, no Mio, no Babos. It's just good old water. I don't even know if it's filtered. He might just bring it right out the tap just to show everyone how much of a man he is. Comment down below. Do you think he's crazy or like real crazy? Let us know.
There's no good option for him. It's just bad or worse.
Well, it's Joe. It's the tale of two different beverages here because I'm over here. I got sparkling water. I have Mio. I have ice to keep my drink cold and regular water. I like a nice mix.
Lavish, man. Could you imagine medieval times? Anyone going, I need sparkly water.
Yo, that's so wild. You just brought that up because all of a sudden on TikTok, the algorithm has been showing me like, so you think it'd be fun to live in the medieval days, huh? You really like Game of Thrones and stuff like that? Well, in reality, most people didn't even have glass and there was no insulation. And they're just saying how it was a smoky, cold, horrible conditions place to be.
Yeah. I mean, even in castles, it's not like it's necessarily warm unless you have a fire going the whole time. But then you have like the smoke from the fire, and they had chimneys and stuff like that. But yeah.
Well, they're saying that even because there was no insulation really. Well, if you were like in the village, it was like a mud house, which I actually think would probably be better than just a bunch of stones. But then again, wouldn't the stones heat up? I don't know. It's all like those AI videos. Like, so you thought you would want to be in the medieval times? Well, for dinner, it would usually be some whatever random animal they could find as a stew, and it's it seems like it'd be pretty rough because you watch, especially like childish like medieval movies that have like, oh, this beautifully roasted turkey and fresh apples and stuff. And it's like, nah, man, they were eating gruel and stale bread and stuff. So,
yeah. Well, a good stew sounds great. Like some venison stew or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, especially if it's cold. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be into that. And the bread. Yeah, I guess the bread, if it's stale, it would suck. Like the rock hard bread. They probably, if you're in a castle and you're a sir, then you have fresh bread every day.
Well, if I ever went back, I'd just bring a bunch of soap. Oh, I don't know. We're not going into this because then I'll start talking. We'll have a whole episode about medieval times. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Download the Uplift. This is episode number 18. So this is 4, 8, 12, 16. Dang, this is 4.5 months doing the podcast. That's pretty crazy. Well,
that's cool.
I guess the last couple have been every 2 weeks. But yeah, so this is number 18. And we just want to remind you guys that we're subs are pretty steady. I think we got a new one the other day. So that's cool. Thanks, bud. But make sure you like, subscribe, say what's up, show us all the love. Spotify, no one's really listening on Spotify. I like Spotify because I like how you can just turn it sideways as mentioned by my podcast host, Dane, that you can actually watch the video. I think that's really cool. But wherever you listen, thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you for joining us. Thanks for subscribing and liking, smashing the bell, all that good stuff.
And absolutely taking out your bazooka, locking on to that like button, and firing a missile at it so it pulverizes the button.
Just 360 no scope it.
Ooh. See, only the real ones know about what that means. No scope.
Yeah.
It's such a good one. No scope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said that it was my co-host that enjoys eating yolks for breakfast because I want to talk to him about the show today. And my man listed off the most exotic breakfast that he had today. Very custom at his place of work. How'd it go, man? You said the breakfast was good, bro?
Yeah, no, it's good. I eat it almost every single day. And it's from Rachel's Kitchen. It's nice. Nice. But yeah, it's just scrambled eggs, some bacon and toast and fruit. So.
Dude, love that. When I heard that, I was like, man, that's a proper breakfast. Like
proper.
But then he's like, yo, it's also $15. I'm like, oh, my soul. my Italian frugal soul. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, it is expensive. It's like 11, but then you have to tip.
Look at you. That's that LV 702 tipping culture. I love it. Well, it's funny because I used to be scrambled eggs only. But dude, when I went on that trip with all my Halo buddies, one of the guys, he was chefing up and he made just fried eggs. So basically just throw a slab of butter in the pan and just crack it on there until it's like well done. Yo, I'll never go back. I love my eggs like that now, bro. So
you haven't had fried eggs?
I used to be so picky as a little kid. I was like, scrambled eggs only, please.
Wow. So look, because I remember this. It was before you moved away. But so I love fried eggs. Scrambled's good. But the one day you came over, I just got done cooking some boiled eggs, and you're like,
oh, gross.
They're good.
Hard-boiled eggs? No way, dude.
They're good, and they're good for you.
Oh, listen. Oh, dude, you want to know what? Once again, our weekly thing of these devices listening to us dude, I just saw a full thing on X how a guy ate nothing but like eggs for like an experiment, and his cholesterol actually went down 20%. Don't listen to anybody. Yo, eggs are really good for you. They're a superfood. But yeah, fried eggs. But here's the thing about fried eggs. Comment down below, first of all, if you like fried eggs. But yo, like I don't like the runny yolk. Like I want that thing cooked. So it's like some people are into that whole like, yeah.
I like over hard, but what I don't mind is every once in a while when I order over hard eggs, they undercook it slightly, so it's slightly runny, and it's like every once in a while having that, I'm like, yeah, it's good, but I'm not a fan of having it all the time.
Is that what over hard is? The yolk is cooked?
Yeah, you turn it over and it's hard,
dude. Yo, I swear on our friendship, I'm just learning like what exactly that is. Well, then I like them like that because I'll let it go like that until it starts turning white. Dude, I do like the seasoned Lowry salt, little pepper, little garlic, onion powder. Then I flip it, and it has that nice. Dude, I just put it on everything, like whatever I'm eating, it's extra set. One egg is like 7 calories or 7 grams of protein or something. I don't know. So eat your eggs, kids. And I'm glad you talked about breakfast today because you got me fired up about breakfast.
Yeah, no, eggs are amazing, and fruit.
Yes,
fruit with your breakfast is good. So
there was a doctor on he was doing a it seems like all I do is watch TikTok, but there was a doctor on and he was doing
even
like
everyone else, man.
I'm still pretty good about it. Like I haven't gotten the hey man, you need to take a break message for a while. But it was the day after a Super Bowl a couple years ago, and he was doing a live like question and answers. I was like, and I think I was most likely hungover. I said, "Hey doc, what should I eat to take care of my body after going a little crazy for the big game?" And he said, fruit is huge. Like you want, like fruit is really good, like with the antioxidants and vitamins. He's like, fruit's really good for you, like after a rough night of drinking.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it's got everything. It's like it's natural sugars. You got some fiber going on, which is good, and then all that stuff. So,
well, you know what's crazy? You got that. Dang, what time was it? Your time when you were eating breakfast? It was almost like lunchtime, was it?
So yeah, so I had breakfast for lunch.
Wow.
But I've also been doing some frosted mini wheats for actual breakfast.
Okay. That's a good, hey, that's that little sugar bomb, and it has fiber, so it'll get you going. I'm with it, man. Yo, so today my day went pretty well, dude. I went for my jog. And at the park, there's a dam that, like, if you want to make the 4-mile jog a 3 point something mile, you just cut it off early at the dam.
Yeah.
So today I was like, I felt good. I was sweating. I was like, all right, let's cut this off. So I went on the dam, dude, and there was a goose. And it was just, and there's this little pathway to walk across the top of the dam, and the goose. Yo, these things are mean, bro. And I forgot, because when I was in the RV, I think in North Carolina or something, I got attacked by geese. But I walked, and I was like, dude, he's not moving. So I tried to like walk down the slope of the dam. Like, listen, I'm a 200-pound, whatever, 190-something-pound, pretty capable young man. But I was like, I don't want to get attacked by this goose. This dude perked up and he went. Apparently they hiss, dude. And have you ever experienced a goose attack?
No, I've gotten like a dive bomb by birds and stuff like that. Yeah, but birds are kind of, they're assholes. but they're descendants from dinosaurs. So there you go. That's
is that like do you think that like that's legit true?
Yeah. Well, like apparently they've linked like the T-Rex to chickens. From what I've heard. But no, I mean, like if you look at dinosaurs, and especially like the new version where they do have feathers and stuff like that, like you can just see they're giant, like monstrous looking birds.
Well, they say like a crocodile or an alligator is like the closest thing, right? That still walk around to a dinosaur.
Well, So not dinosaurs per se, because it's very complicated. There's dinosaurs and they existed in different periods, like I don't know which period, but like the Jurassic period and stuff like that, which I think the Jurassic period was predominantly another category of animals. But anyway,
okay,
it's complicated. Is all I'm getting at. So there are like alligators and crocodiles are descendants of reptiles, and honestly aren't really that different from their ancestors, because an alligator, crocodile is pretty much perfect. The only big difference is that there used to be, I believe, bigger alligators and crocodiles and stuff like that. So their descendants were just huge versions of what they are today. And it's the same thing with like the shark. A great white shark, is pretty much like doesn't have any pressures to change or evolve that much. So.
Well, I don't know if Rogan talks about it a lot, but my fluffy little dog and your fluffy little dog, bro, they're descendants of like wolves, like all the way back. So Winston, my dog that's like, Nick Jr.'s fun, was like,
yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, they had to change a lot because we basically domesticated them, and that's it. So,
now you have Pomeranians.
Yeah.
What's Sarge? Sarge
is he's a cockapoo.
Yo, yeah, he's the coolest, man.
Yeah,
Cole's cool too.
Yeah, Cole's a terrier. He's awesome.
Sweet. Those are my co-host dogs. Comment down below if you like dogs and what kind of dog you have. That's an engagement post.
Yeah.
Comment down below do you like dogs? What's the best kind? Let us know below.
What was the name of your first dog? What was the name of your first school? Who was your favorite teacher in 3rd grade?
100% I'm making that one. 100%. Make sure you let us know. Comment down below. What's your favorite song and why?
Yeah.
Man, podcasting in general is wild. Once again, this is always a nude thing, but not a nude thing, a new thing. And it's crazy though, because
I was gonna say
it's getting spicy over here at DTU.
Okay, it only has to be clothed from the top up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, no one knows what's happening beyond that.
Wasn't that happening at like Zoom meetings? People were just wearing like a suit on the top and just being like in their boxers down below, if not like less clothing. Like, oh, I gotta go get a coffee, and they totally forgot. Oh man,
they hit the camera off button, but they miss, and they just get up like, yeah, I'm good.
That, or they did a full screen share, and dudes just had like porn and stuff in their tabs open. It's like, yo, man, you got to be a little bit. You got to be a little bit secretive, bro. Go get a Chromebook or something.
Well, I think Pornhub did very well over the pandemic.
What I was getting at with the podcasting thing is Joe Rogan had a dude named Matt Walsh on, and literally Matt Walsh was there to talk about his movie, but they started talking about space and why Joe Rogan thinks it's possible that the moon landing didn't actually happen for like an hour. And like, they just went on this tangent of like, yo, see, the flag's not supposed to move like that. And like one day we can have a whole thing, because I know you would love to dive into that. But
yeah, that'd be awesome.
But just in a couple words, do you think that it's possible it was faked?
It's like anything is possible that it was fake. But the thing is, there's so much evidence that supports that we actually did achieve it, as well as like just to try and fake like the motion of the astronauts and everything. We're gonna trigger people down in the comments who are like avid, like the moon landing was a hoax thing. I think the United States, if we weren't going to succeed with landing on the moon, had reason to fake it, because we're racing against Russia to get to the moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge space battle going on, not like Star Wars.
I was just gonna say,
if you get into space
in a galaxy not that far away.
No. But it was an arms race, right? It's like, trying to figure out who's going to be the first to conquer space, the first to land on the moon, all that stuff. So there's reason for them to do that. But I wholeheartedly believe that we landed on the moon and all that's real. And everything that I've seen that is like a hoax video, like I've seen stuff where like it shows a supposed studio and all that stuff. I'm like, that can be easily, manipulated in today's technology. Like today, almost anything could be faked. but still, like even then, like you look at CGI and all that, and if you're used to it, then you know what CGI looks like, and I can pick out most CGI.
That's cool. Maybe we'll do that. Have like a test for you. Like, because I'm sure there's somebody that set up like a video, like, can you fly the CGI? But no, I think we literally should talk about it, like, or just have a show about conspiracy theories. But so I won't go into it. But I'll sit.
What would be super hard would be picking out all the AI generated images right now. That would be super hard.
And it's only going to get crazier. Rogan's point, and I kind of agree, I'll just say these two sentences and then we'll move on, is that he was like, he's like, yo, every other technology has come along so far, and supposedly your cell phone has more technology than they had in that whole thing, but yet we still can't someone there again. But that's it. Nope, we're not going to get into this because I could see you like, yo, put me in, coach. I want to go win this fight. But no, because I know I am interested in this too. But no, we'll talk about that next
episode.
Next episode will be about space,
or the episode after that.
Yeah, because hopefully next week, we're gonna have a guest. Even if it's my dog and I just put a camera on him, we'll interview him. We will have a guest. And so look forward to that. Make sure you hit the notification bell for all your fun. Download the Uplift Facts. Hey, just to get a little kind of just a couple current events. I thought this was cool. We're gonna get a little serious. So the nuclear power plant where 3 Mile Island happened in Pennsylvania, which was like a meltdown in 1979 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They are working with the government. And, please bear with me because I just read through this briefly earlier today, but to work with Microsoft to power back up by 2028, because Microsoft, I didn't realize how much juice that AI takes to run, or AI needs a whole lot of electricity. So they're trying to get 3 Mile Island nuclear power plants back in by 2028. So Constellation Energy and Microsoft plan to restart the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant, hoping they have scored a quick source of enough climate-friendly energy to power rapidly expanding data centers for artificial intelligence. U.S. power generation capacity through the end of the decade could rise about 2.4 to 2.7%. So basically, Microsoft's like, yo, we got to get these things going again because AI is a lot of juice, man. What's your thoughts?
That it's interesting because I'm trying to remember what the meltdown that wasn't a serious meltdown. It wasn't like a full-on Chernobyl incident, but it melted down enough for them to cease operation. Or from what I'm remembering, it's a long time that I've researched this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to think of what the cause was because.
I pulled it up. Your co-host is prepared, Papa. I got you. So it was a partial nuclear meltdown of the Unit 2 reactor of the 3 Mile Island nuclear generating station near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The reactor accident began at 4 a.m. on March 28, 1979, and released radioactive gases and radioactive iodine into the environment. It is the worst accident in U.S. commercial nuclear power plant history. The accident began with failures in the non-nuclear secondary system, followed by a stuck open pilot-operated relief valve in the primary system, which allowed large amounts of water to escape from the pressurized isolated coolant loop. The mechanical failures were compounded by the initial failure of plant operations to recognize the situation of a loss of coolant. So basically, a bunch of sketchy water got out. Is that what I'm reading?
Well, it seems like that was a big operational error. So if that being the case, I mean, they could reopen the plant. And what I was thinking is, hopefully, it's not any environmental factor that happened that caused the meltdown. Like I was trying to remember what it was, but I haven't even thought of that in probably like 7 years. That's how long ago it was that I like actually looked into it. But yeah, sure. Yeah, as long as it's safe and as long as there's no reason environmentally why it would be stupid to put the power plant back up there. So, or restart it basically.
Were you aware that AI was a big power grab thing? Like it took a lot to run it. Like I had no idea. Like Microsoft said a full data center. Like I'm sure you've seen the server farms. There's one in Vegas that's crazy, dude. Like I don't know if that's a server farm, the Switch thing.
Switch, is it a red building?
Yeah, with like the craziest security ever. I think they're some kind of data center because
I think it is. And I think there's probably very good reason why there's so much security on that.
Oh yeah. Of course.
But yeah, I I wouldn't have thought that they'd go to like nuclear energy, but yeah, I mean, as we get more and more advanced on AI and stuff like that, like, you know, this is where I think supercomputers and stuff like that could jump in, not for like fast processing because they're pretty terrible for that, but supercomputers to crunch like large amounts of information, which they might already be using for training like AI or solving other problems to do with AI. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna take a lot of energy and stuff like that. It's yeah, there's been every technology that's come out or any digitally based thing like cryptocurrency or whatever. Uh, you know,
Oh yeah,
it, yeah,
mining.
yeah. Like the resources for mining are crazy.
Mm.
At one stage, it was worth doing because you could get a Bitcoin pretty easily. But as it went on, you know, like it became harder and harder to crunch numbers. This is what I'm hearing because I've never actually tried to do this. But yeah, like you need more and more graphics cards, and there are scalpers and stuff like that for the graphics cards. And you know the big thing, because you know we're talking about energy and how like all this stuff can affect the environment. Um, Biggest thing with crypto was, I think it was um, Nvidia, but I'm not entirely sure. It might have been Nvidia and AMD that did this, but they basically created graphics cards that were incapable of like they had a unit that made it so that they didn't behave like a graphics card does. Like it doesn't output an image. Instead, it was just the number crunching portion of the graphics card. And basically, what happened is like after um, people stopped mining cryptocurrency as much, there were all these graphics cards that were essentially useless as far as spitting out images and behaving like a traditional graphics card. So that ended up just being a bunch of landfill. And the the dumb thing about it is like all they had to do was just add this component, and it would have just been like a graphics card. So it was a weird sort of marketing or product strategy that they came up with that just didn't make sense in the long run. So
Yeah.
that was a pretty decent impact, and just kind of a stupid uh, product to come out with, because you know it wasn't future proofed at all. It's like it relied on people farming crypto forever.
I don't know. I don't even want to get into the crypto thing, but if it's wild if you look back to the early days and the guy's like, "Yeah, I bought this used, guitar. It only cost me like 6 bitcoins."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my soul. Or the kid that supposedly threw his hard drive out with like a bunch, like it ended up in a trash dump somewhere. I don't know. Well, before we move on, what are your thoughts about like, see, I don't, the only thing I knew about nuclear power before was The Simpsons and Homer Simpson. But basically, you have stuff and it's in water and creates steam that makes turbines. But don't like, what's your thoughts on nuclear? Because I feel like everyone thinks about Chernobyl or 3 Mile Island, but that was like the 70s and 80s. Like I'm all for it, and I don't care. But like we try not to be political, but I think it's a good idea as long as, like you said, the right precautions. But dude, is it, dude, like a nuclear sub? And I'm so sorry. I just watched a thing about this. Like, dude, they can stay out indefinitely because of the nuclear reactors. It's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much. Nuclear energy is, if we can do it in a way, and especially fusion, if we figure out fusion in a way that's stable and we reduce the risks as much as possible, like that is really the key to energy in the future.
Okay.
It is surprisingly, and I was shocked by this when I learned it. But it's surprisingly clean, because most of the emissions that come out of it are just water vapor. But
It's cool.
obviously, when it goes wrong, it's
Oh my gosh.
the worst thing ever. So yeah, it's like it's a double-edged sword, right? Because it's like well, maybe not a double-edged sword. It's like, energy haven is our solution to all our energy needs, or the thing that could completely destroy us, right? Because if we don't get it right, or something goes wrong or gets mishandled, entire regions are like inhabitable, or entire cities and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a great thing. I think people are basically heading down that direction anyway, nuclear powered everything. But yeah, you need to we need to be cautious with it, just like anything else. But nuclear, you're talking about producing a large amount of energy, so you're playing with bombs at that point.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, do you guys want, once again, I drive a Tesla myself. You guys want EVs and AI and all this stuff? You gotta power this stuff somehow. But yeah, I mean,
and going just based on EVs, right? If it's the future, electric vehicles, which I think it will head down that direction, we have to have a different source aside from gas to create the electricity, because it doesn't add up
at all. No,
Yeah.
I just drive the car because it's cool. Anyone that drives a Tesla or an electric car, they think like, hey man, I'm saving the environment. It's like, no, you're not at all. It's way worse. It's the lithium and all the nonsense, the cobalt. But let's move on. Check this out, dude. So California just passed a thing to ban or restrict smartphones in school. Now, unpopular opinion. I'm sorry, people, if I make a reel out of this, because I think this is a good idea. When I was in high school, we had Razor phones, which was like T9 texting and stuff like that. And say what you will, but I think this is kind of a good move. I feel like, but here, they're doing it because excess usage can increase the risk of mental illness and impair learning. I know, and this is a mental, we talk about mental health on this channel, but I think that's a big thing. But also the fact to impair learning, especially with AI and Google, I just think it's got to be kind of sketchy. What do you think?
It's not even, Google, AI, all that stuff. I think that's great for learning. And yeah, like obviously people are exploiting it and not doing their homework and essays and stuff like that. But I think probably one of the worst things is just, being on social media all the time. And I'm on social media a lot, but I didn't grow up fully with it. I didn't have a social media page until I was like 12 or something like that. Maybe a bit younger. But yeah, I think for even social reasons, to get people out and not just stuck on their computers and phones, I think that's better. Yeah. The crazy thing as well is I think in the new generations, the thing that's keeping computers alive are things like video games, because you can basically do whatever you want on your phone. You don't really need a computer.
Well, and people editing music and videos. Hey-o.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you're working, then yeah, definitely you need it. So yeah, if they're doing social media, they need a computer. If they're playing computer games, obviously they need a computer. But it was so surprising to me, like the amount of people who went into like the studio that I worked at, and they didn't have a computer. And I was like, well, how do you keep track of your music? How do you do anything? And they're just like, well, I just have it on my phone, and that's, I don't know, it's a weird way of doing it.
No, my gosh.
Yeah.
No, I don't even like to Google search stuff on my phone unless it's like a real quick fact. Like I like to, I don't know. Hey, listen, it's not easy getting old. Actually, hold on. Before we get into that, I just want to point out your freaking your job title today, dude.
I was wondering when you're gonna say something.
So our jobs this week, I'm a penguin tank cleaner.
What's that?
If you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, we have our job titles that change every week. And I decide I think it'd be like if you work at an aquarium, you clean the penguin tank. That'd be awesome. But then I look over at my beautiful co-host, and he is a baby oil confiscation unit number 5. Are you going to like Diddy's place, or what's going on there? What does that mean?
Hey, there was a lot of baby oil to deal with, man.
Yeah.
We needed multiple units on it.
Is that really where that came from?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, man.
It's topical.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I think
not the baby oil, but it's topical.
Baby oil, nice. Sometimes I like to just wear it and just walk around my house. It's nice. I'm just kidding.
Don't get raided, man. Come on.
Yo, my gosh. Well,
oh my god.
If
not that we should talk about it, but that's there's so many messes happening in the entertainment industry.
Oh right yeah, dude. Creepy stuff, man. Yeah. Hey, listen, that whole Hollywood being famous, like secret cults and weird parties, and like, dude, there's way too much, stuff that gets leaked without there being some truth to some of it, man. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. And if it's the foundation that built a lot of it, it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. I mean, I think the problem is sometimes when you have like everything you could possibly want, that all of a sudden you need to look to like creepy stuff to find happiness, or you're just a sick person in general. But who knows, man? All I know is, I mean, you seem pretty normal.
I'm not famous.
Oh, you're famous, all right.
Unless I'm on the Truman Show.
Oh my god!
I don't know it.
Don't get me down that rabbit hole. Hey, no moon landings, flat Earth, and we're in a simulation. Next week, download the upload.
Yeah,
or in a couple weeks. All I know is that I like to stay. If I do put on baby oil and I take a picture, it's gonna make my muscles look bigger, which is not authentic. Which brings us to our quote of the week. Yo, it's the quote of the week. Quote of the week. Quote of the week. Oh, sorry. Either way, our quote of the week brought to you by Polar Seltzer Water. Would you like to do it? That's kind of your thing at this point.
Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who you think you were supposed to be and embracing who you are. Brene Brown.
Today, I thought we would have our little segment about just being authentic, man. Being authentically you is what we're calling it. I don't know. It came to me because I think it's really important to be yourself. I think it's, even just like the Hollywood parties we're talking about. A lot of people might go to Hollywood as like a Nebraskan Cornhusker with like family values, and they feel like they need to act a certain way to like blend in, and all of a sudden they're kind of just not being true to themselves. And I thought that'd be something that could be cool to talk about this week, man. What are your thoughts? First impressions? I know I brought this up and you sound like you were mad because you hated the idea so bad.
You know me, man. No, I think it's super important. And like you said, it's a huge thing to try and pursue like your dreams and everything, but not lose who you are in the process. I think there's a lot of people that have done that. It's like, what did your achievements cost you? So, and you could look at it in that kind of a cynical way, or like that sort of divisive, where it's like, you gave up everything you had to get something you thought you wanted, and now you're no longer who you were. You're no longer who you were fundamentally.
Yeah.
And what is it worth it to do that? I mean, obviously not, but people do it. You look at it that way, and you could also look at it like just people who are maybe more people pleasers and don't want to offend people, right? So like they sort of restrict themselves, and it's sort of figuring out like a balance. Like you don't want to be like an asshole, right?
Right.
You don't want people to like being around you to a certain degree. You know, where is that balance? Where is it where you're sort of just, you know, being a bit of a doormat for people versus like, you know, you're just being a normal person who's not showing people everything, but still being yourself, you know, especially for the important things. So I think of it in those two ways.
Oh man. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I had a little help to kind of like help organize. Like I do a lot of times with ChatGPT, but she made some good points, man. It was like living in line with your values and your beliefs. And like you said, man, I think unfortunately in my past, I've probably, you know, you don't want to rock the boat, right? You're like, yeah, I want to make sure everyone else is happy, but that means you're not really being true to yourself. Maybe you don't want to stay at the party that long. I don't know if that is the same motion, the same idea, but well, I think, yeah.
If let's say this, you're wanting to cut back, and then everyone keeps going like, come on out, you know, like you have to, and that's not necessarily like a, you know, an identity thing, but it's like, you know, choosing to do what's right by you versus what other people are wanting you to do, right? That's sort of where that lies, and I think that's true. That, you know, that's part of this as well. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's like, you know, you have to. There comes a time where you have to choose what you want to do, where you want to be in life, and stuff like that. What goals you want to accomplish, and not everyone's going to like that. Yeah, and the thing is, it's like even if someone is supportive and people are supportive of you, sometimes it's also difficult to, you know, support people who have certain goals and stuff like that, because it's a very daunting task. So it requires a lot of time out of, you know, someone's life, basically. So there's a whole lot of things where it, you know, life and people around you and stuff like that can steer you in all kinds of different directions and say like, you know, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, and all that stuff. But, you know, it's only you that knows, like, okay, like who am I? What am I trying to accomplish? And even then, sometimes it's difficult to know that, right? But yeah, it's something that I think a lot of people have to look at, you know, several times in their life. Like, am I being me? Am I doing what I want to do? And yeah, all that stuff.
Society's like, why is it so hard to be yourself? It says society's tendency to reward conformity. I think that kind of goes to what you were just saying. Like, hey, if I just kind of go with the flow, you know, and I don't rock the boat, you know, everything will be fine. Everything will be smooth. You know, it's crazy. So we went to the football game out here in West Texas. Chase ran. He's like, yo, I'm coming out. I was like, all right, say less. I started saying that now because I'm one of the young go-hards. Hey man, say less. But yo, there's two trains of thoughts when you're walking around West Texas, man. Like I've said it before, there's like legitimate cowboys here. So it's cool to like, yo, let's have fun, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, man, you need to be yourself. So I wore my felt black cowboy hat. And by the way, so there's a thing about cowboy hats. If you see the white ones, the straw ones, those are for summer because they breathe. And the black ones are felt because they're toasty, man. Those are for wintertime. But all I have is a black one. So I have my black felt hat in 88-degree weathers. Black skin. No, I had gray, like 5'10" skinny jeans and bright red Vans because, yo, that's myself. And I was more comfortable than ever at the game. And then I'm not dogging on anybody, but do you know how many let's say there were, I don't know, let's say 1,000 girls. There was a lot more, but I'd say like 990 of them had white cowgirl boots on. I get it's the fashion, but I think somewhere one of those girls is like, I don't want to wear these uncomfortable boots. I'd rather wear sneakers. But when you got the whole crew wearing white cowboy boots, you know what I mean? And I think it's easy for you to conform like that. And I don't know. Once again, I'm not dogging anybody, but
no, yeah, for sure. And yeah, like there's stuff like that, but I think it's usually deeper than that, right? Like, so if it's like, I don't want to wear these shoes, but everyone's dressing up the same or whatever, like, yeah, all right, cool. You're doing that for the group.
yeah.
But let's say, like, I don't know, let's say one of those girls was like a goth girl, and then like for a whole year she's like trying to hang out with those girls, and they're like, you need to dress like this and blah blah blah, and then like she changed up everything that she was. Right? That's not being authentically you. That's kind of my point. It's not necessarily like I'm wearing these shoes because I don't want to, but it's like, no, you changed everything to fit into your new social group or whatever.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's way like, yo, you changed to who you are. And like you started listening to Taylor Swift and you listen to like Cradle of Filth. Yeah. Interesting.
And if you like Taylor Swift and you also like wearing goth clothes and listening to Cradle of Filth, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, dude, exactly. That's a great point too, man, because that is you. You know what I mean? Dude, there's not a lot. Well, I guess maybe like Morgan Wallen, some of the country pop stars wear skinny jeans and cowboy hats. But I think that there is a sense of peace and there's a sense of like, when you're just yourself, man, and you just start off by just being honest. Like, yo, I've been a very honest dude these days, and it feels good. Like I had a video about communication, how like, yo, just pick up the phone, get it done. Even if you don't want to talk to somebody, just pick up the phone. Same thing goes with honesty, man. Listen, if you're literally going to hurt somebody, then obviously you need to like take precautions, figure a way to talk to, but like some people that just be honest with yourself and then be honest with people, man. And people, I think, can sense that when you're an honest person, you're being genuine and you're being yourself and you're being authentically you. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's people that hide behind the whole I'm just brutally honest. Like I'm authentic because I'm brutally honest and stuff like that. And that's their whole thing of like an excuse why they are just offending people and being
right.
I don't really care. Like I don't care what people's take on it is. Like there are people I've been friends with who are just brutally honest and they offend a bunch of people. But I personally disagree with it. Like I don't do it because I don't think you're not being genuine by also caring about how others are going to take things, right? And in a way, I mean, that's who I am. So that's me being authentic. If I want to explain or comment on something or handle something in a certain way, then that's because that's who I am. Someone wants to go like, you're being an idiot and that's it, then cool. But I can have brutal honesty sometimes as well, but at the end of the day, like usually it's more friendly advice and stuff like that. But yeah,
I dig that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that, I like what you said about the girl that changed up like her whole life, because me traveling around the RV, it's wild. Like it's how about this? I talked to my uncle today, and like I said y'all a couple times, and like a lot of like yes sirs, but I wasn't, dude, I swear I was just being authentic. And I've only lived here for like a year. But actually, I've been saying y'all for a little bit. I kind of like it. But it's not like anything that comes out of my mouth is not forced. I was like, oh, yes, sir. But I was like, oh, no, these guys probably think I'm trying to sound like a freaking West Texas boy now. But
here's the other thing. Like wherever you move, you take on some of the, the sayings and the mannerisms and stuff like that. Like if you live there long enough, you adapt to it, right? Or it becomes part of you. So there's that. And then also if you want to say those things and you want to do those things, and just do them because it's what you want to do, right? And if someone goes like, you've changed or whatever, it's like,
hey,
well,
man,
yeah,
you changed.
but if you stop saying y'all because someone said stop saying y'all, that it's not a big deal. But if that was like who you were, then yeah, you're not being who you are.
Right. Well, okay. Well, here's an example of people not being themselves. You could tell, at least in Las Vegas. No, maybe not Las Vegas. Maybe it was when I lived in LA. And people, you could hear the force of them saying hella. I was like, you didn't want to say hella, like, dude, that's hella cool. Like you didn't mean that, dude. Like I still say wicked cool because in Massachusetts, that's like, or I should say New England, it's like, dude, that's wicked cool. But some people will try and force hella. So just so you know, we see you frauds.
I don't know.
Do you say hella?
I haven't seen that, but yeah, I've said hella before.
Like what? Like hella what? Like yo, that track is hella fire. That's super authentic.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's behind the scenes. That's off camera.
Yo, dog, that's that track hella fire. That's actually how Dane really talks.
Yeah, it's just a whole facade. Kind of thing. The stutters and everything. It's just.
Well, I know you. Yeah.
No, I used to say hella occasionally. Like I think I said, if I said hella, it was followed by tight. So it was like hella tight.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I was a kid.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I think
I am a kid, basically.
You said you're Anakin?
No, I still am a kid, basically. I'm just 32. But
hey, man. We're gonna stay 18 forever. I'm gonna feed my dog a treat because he's doing circles. Yeah. So I also want to point out real quick definitely one thing is, have a little patience with yourself too, because I'm also 39 years old. I mean, I know my co-host is way younger, but I think when you're young, you're impressionable and like. But the one thing I could say for advice is why we have this podcast and why we brought this up is because, dude, I'll tell you what, man, when you're yourself and you're just kind of confident in who you are as a person and you're okay with you and you're being authentically you, it's the title of the podcast. I'll say this, man, you definitely have a little bit more of a sense of peace. At least I do, instead of trying to be something you're not. And another thing is I saw a thing about, girls can, I know you're not on the dating scene. You have a lovely young lady. But I think that girls can see right through it, man. When some of these guys are trying to put on a facade or maybe vice versa. Actually, I think guys, when girls, if they do hit on guys, like they can see right through that, man. Like it's like girls, I think, comment down below, girls. Do you appreciate it when dudes are just being 100% themselves with you? And can you look right through the fakers? Let us know below.
I think anyone can, honestly. It's like well, like you mentioned earlier, it's like when someone says something and you're like
yeah,
or they're just behaving a certain way. And to be honest with you, I've done it a bunch in my life. I've tried to try to be some way or whatever, but
for sure.
Yeah, like it's tough. I mean, eventually I feel like you have to be mostly yourself in any situation, because I think you'll just go crazy. But obviously, like who you are completely by yourself alone is still different, even if you're like the most I don't care kind of person. It's still different than when you're around anyone, right?
I'm 100% that way. Oh yeah, dude. But I'm not like being a fake. But dude, when I'm at home, I'm like, I got the blinds drawn. I'm like, what's up? But then like, but you know, when we were out for hibachi, she's like, yeah, it's. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's just how it is. I mean, you know, we all do weird enough things that we're like, I'm never gonna do that in front of someone. So yeah, but yeah, it's a balance of things. We've said that in the podcast as well. It's all
Hey, I've
about
never heard that before.
yeah, but yeah, it's like being, like I said, being that brutally honest person or whatever. It's like that's not really what is authentic about you. You know, it's but just you have to have enough of the important things, and people, like you said, they can tell if you're authentic to who you are in the important ways, you know, and there's no like awkward like, oh, why is this guy acting like that, you know.
Do you think that people that use like a ton of like filters and stuff like that, do you think that's more of like lack of self-confidence, or maybe it's that as opposed to not being like authentic? What do you think of that?
Yeah, I was so I was actually thinking about this on the drive home, and when I got home, when I took pictures when I was like in my teens and stuff like that, I had like acne. I still do, but you know, I started getting into like Photoshop and stuff like that, and I just started doing it for fun. And one of the things I really love to do is like take a picture of me and see like, okay, can I get rid of like all the blemishes on my face, and then from there edit the photo and do something cool with it, you know. And I posted those things online occasionally, and yeah, I mean, you could say it's like that's not being true to you or whatever, but my whole approach to it was like, you know, if I want to post a photo online and I'm getting rid of blemishes or whatever, or you could say the same thing about people who wear too much makeup or wear makeup all the time. It's like you just want to look like your best self, right? At the end of the day, like, and to me, especially in a photo, right? Because you know, like I'll walk around looking like a bum, and I don't care. But in a photo, I'm like, well, I might as well touch up. I might as well look as good as I possibly can, and yeah, because it's going to be there, you know. So I don't think it's a bad thing to do that. I don't think it's a bad thing to wear makeup, dress yourself up, and all that stuff. You know, I don't think people are being fake by doing that. But when it compromises like your integrity and who you are as a person, or if that's all you are, you could even say that that's not being. You could say that someone who's just all about looks, that's still them being authentic, but maybe just being very shallow and not an in-depth person. But yeah, like, you know, I think you can do those things and still be you.
I don't know.
Let me ask this, because I think it's important. I don't know if we'll be able to think of anything, but where was like a moment in your life where you were like, where it was hard to be authentic, that you actually like push through it, and you're like, you know, no, I gotta stand up for who I am, even though no one's gonna like me or they're gonna disagree.
Man, when I was a young kid, I fell right into the like the in crowd while trying to be part of the in crowd. Like I was a skater, then like I listened to Wu-Tang, so I wore FUBU clothes all of a sudden, and I literally like changed everything. But I was in sixth grade. I mean, who knows? Man, that's a good question. I don't know. I would have to like think on that. You know, I like to think that I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a great question. Why? Do you have a certain time in your life that sticks out?
No, not particularly, but I mean, I just think it's good to give examples as well.
Yeah, I feel bad. Sorry, audience. You should have told me this question. I would add them. When was a time when being yourself and you just had to take a stand?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no specific time that I can think of right off the top of my head, but there's been a few times where, you know, like everyone might have one opinion in a conversation, and I usually like I don't even bring up my opinions on like important topics or whatever when people are talking about it until someone asks me, or if the conversation's directed at me, then, you know, obviously I'm going to comment on it and stuff like that. But yeah, there's been a few times where, like, you know, I've been around people, and it's not, I'm not saying like they're bad people or whatever, but they just have like very different opinions from me, and you know, they might have very like dated opinions on certain things, and I just, you know, after hearing it, go like, well, nah, but I don't think those things, you know, and I sort of voice my opinion on the matter, even though I'm around a bunch of people that like all wholeheartedly agree with, you know, whatever they've been talking about for like an hour. So I think it's difficult sometimes to do that. It's difficult, like, you know, when you're like a kid and stuff like that, especially. I feel I think a lot of kids, and myself and my generation included and stuff like that, you know, if you see like some wrongdoing going on or whatever, like some kids getting bullied or some shit like that, and everyone's joining in on it, everyone's kind of, you know, or just not doing anything. That's the other thing. It's like not doing anything, following the crowd to do that. It takes a lot of courage to step in and, you know, change the tides on something, or challenge someone's opinion or whatever because you have a different one. It takes a lot of courage for that. I also, it's a balance, because like shoving your opinion down people's throats and stuff like that, I don't think it's a good thing either. But yeah, like those are the hard times. That's when like you can be tested as far as who you really are and stuff like that. And you know, there's great people that stand up for what they think is right, and regardless of the consequence, you know. And there's all kinds of different examples of that. It's like, you know, schoolyard bully, or you could even go all the way to like some of the greatest travesties that have happened throughout our history, and the people who stood against that, you know, and with the risk of death and stuff being a factor, you know, it takes a lot, and the world will test you constantly to prove who you are.
I think that's very true. The world, or like me, I'm a, you know, Christian dude, and like if I listen to a podcast or something and they start like dogging, like in my, like I consider it blasphemous if they start like, yeah, and like, or like if I'm watching something and they're depicting like Jesus in a horrible, like I'll be like, no, I'm not watching this. I can't do it, because for me in my religion, that's not like, I can't watch that stuff. Like, so, yeah. Or you'll never hear me say, oh my God, or Jesus Christ. Like I've never said that, because I was raised like, yo, you don't use the Lord there. Like I've done a lot of crazy things, and I also don't use the R word. I hate people that use that word, because that's just not cool. People that can't control something that's going on. So I stand by those two pillars a lot. Just using a couple words I don't use, and like I don't like blasphemous stuff. I've even left situations where I'm like, yo, this is not good. I don't want to be a part of this. But those are some hills that I would die on. Here's something to lighten it up. Comment down below, what's a fun unpopular opinion? Like mine, as an Italian heritage man, I think Olive Garden's pretty awesome, and I would go to the Olive Garden. I don't care if it's microwaved Italian food. So comment down below, what's an unpopular fun opinion? What's one from you, Dane?
So Olive Garden, I've always loved it, and like I'm not saying it's like my go-to place every time we go out, but every time I go there, it's good.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you have an unpopular opinion that you could think of?
Geez, I don't
Like
know.
even if it's an audio thing, like I think these mics are better than these mics, or Pro Tools better than Ableton. Yeah, even though I'm pretty sure everyone would say that you're right, right?
Nah, like it depends. Like it's like, are you a Pro Tools user or are you an Ableton user?
That's not like unpopular.
Pro Tools is still the industry standard.
So
but,
see, that's still pretty popular.
Oh well, okay. An audio related unpopular opinion. I think it's super easy to make beats and tracks in Pro Tools, and I think it would be easier than Ableton and all the other programs. But that's just because I know Pro Tools and not Ableton that well. So
hey, I've heard you cook up a lot of stuff in the kitchen, man. Oh, I'll give you one of Dane's unpopular opinions. Steak can be good out of the microwave. Ugh, horrible.
Yeah, that might be unpopular.
No, it is.
Look, if someone cooks it medium rare to medium well, and you microwave it to heat it up a bit, it's fine. It's a good steak. It doesn't change it. And the benefit of it is you get a $20 to $30 steak, right? Maybe 40 if it's a little bougie. And then you eat half that steak, right? Save it for later, heat it up, and then you got 2 steak dinners, right?
Love
for the
it.
price of one.
Well, let us know what your unpopular opinion is. I don't know. I love those. I got a bunch of them, like ranch on everything. I love ranch, but I think everyone likes ranch.
I probably do as well. I'm just trying to think of the state of the world.
you like tea over coffee. That's unpopular, unless you're in the UK.
Yeah. I mean, depends on where you're at.
I know.
If you're thinking the United States is the whole world.
Well, it is, baby. Raise hail, praise Dale. Unpopular opinion. You know what? Yo, I comment down below. I've asked you guys. No one will, but yo, someone that actually likes Burger King fries. Yo, fly your flag. Let us see if you like Burger King fries, because I don't believe you. But comment down below if you do.
Oh, okay. Well, Burger King fries as opposed to McDonald's fries?
Yeah. Don't you dare. It'll be over. The podcast will be over.
Look, I've flip-flopped a bit, but right now at this very moment, I think I'd rather have Burger King fries.
Oh.
If it was just Burger King or McDonald's, I'd rather have neither. But if I had to, I don't know. I swore off McDonald's completely. It's just I'll probably end up having it again, but I've never felt good eating McDonald's
ever. Oh, bro, there's so much BS. But I had it the other day. Actually, they have like a 5 for $5. They give you a double cheeseburger, a McChicken, a small fry, and I get a bottle of water. It's like $5. I'm like, good for you guys.
Look, if you go to a good McDonald's and while you're having it, it's great. It's amazing.
Oh, that moment. But after, you're like, hello, darkness, my old friend. Yeah. But yo, Dane, was there anything else on anything we touched on today, Papa?
Authenticity and unpopular opinions. Unpopular opinions are you being authentic.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I always talk about self-reflection, man, and self-reflection will help you understand your own beliefs, what your own values are, who you are as a person, who you are as a dude or a dudette, man. And just try and hold true to that. At least I'm trying to, man. Who knows? I don't know, man. I might go live in a van and all of a sudden I'm wearing tie-dye shirts because that's,
Well, there's also a scientific debate as to whether free will is even a thing or not. So there you go. Who are you?
Oh, man. But Dane, was there anything else?
After that existential question or comment, no, nothing.
What was the last comment? You said something about like you can't be yourself if you're Neo from the Matrix.
No, no. There's a scientific debate as to whether or not free will actually exists or not.
Would that be a philosophy question?
Yeah.
Free will. We can't do this. We're at 120. We'll put a pin in that because that sounds. I would love to hear a full breakdown, but there's no way that would be a good one. But
we're talking about conspiracy theories and stuff. A couple episodes.
Yeah, conspiracy theories and free will.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Yeah. Dang. Nope. Because an hour 20. But guys, join us next week when Dane and I have our next interview, number 4. And this was episode 18 of Download the Uplift, a place where when we fall, we try and uplift you, and we leave you with the closing words to just be authentically you. Have a great week, guys.
See you guys. Peace.